Boom. Okay, we're live. All right, kamusta everybody? Good evening. Chris
Good
here and
evening.
Martin, and we've got something up for you guys um, right now. So without further ado, I want to see where you guys are watching this from. If you're watching from Manila, Iloilo, etc. Diba? Comment down below. Martin, ikaw, kamusta Martin?
Yeah, well, I'm here in Manila. I think a volcano nearby just erupted, Taal volcano, but it's okay, it's safe. Yeah, we're safe here.
Si Taal na naman. Her Facebook user.
Yeah, it's safe. It's just like a level 1 alert. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching from Caloocan.
Yeah, si MJ to. This is MJ. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Taal has been active for a while now. So, sige, bro. Before we start with MMI hot takes, right? I want to give everyone an overview of what MMI is. So I'll share what MMI is for me, then you can share what MMI is for you, right? So, sa akin, MMI is a program of TR Becker, Millionaire Mind Intensive. So for me, I'm an Ilonggo. That means I have to fly all the way to Manila just to attend. And this is, like we said, both me and Martin, we've attended MMI twice. Right? This is your second time, right, Mart? Or this is your third? Second, yeah.
Second time, but I also crewed. So it's like my third.
Yeah. So yun, that's interesting. Right? So other than attending twice, you can also crew. So ito naman, from Pampanga, this is Gerald. Hey, Sir Gerald. Great to see you. Yeah. Sa'yo, bro, what's MMI for? What's MMI for you, man?
Okay. So MMI, or the Millionaire Mind Intensive, for those watching for the first time, it's a 3-day intensive seminar. So why do they call it intensive? It's like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So 3 days. I call it's like a gateway seminar because it was one of the first personal development seminars I took that opened up my world to that. And it will hook you because it's about money. But for me, I came for not the millionaire part. I came for the mind part, the mindset part, which I love. So that's what the Harvecker's specialty is. And then Chris and I will be talking more about it. It's based mainly in Manila. So I'm from Muntinlupa area. Chris had to fly all the way from Iloilo City. So still worth it. And then from there, Millionaire Mind Intensive, it will open up your world to bigger worlds, I would say. For me, it opened up to Quantum Leap, Tony Robbins, but I won't get ahead of myself. We could share more about that later on.
We'll share more later.
So, it's a money mindset seminar.
Yeah, I like what you said about the mind, right? Ang daming tao na gusto magkapera. How many of you would like more money in your life? Type me in the comments. Okay? Ang daming gusto magkapera. Right? Pero yung hindi nila gets is that your capacity for money is equal to your capacity here, your mind. So galing. I like that that you shared. What was your expectations, bro, when you were attending MMI?
Okay. So when I was entering Millionaire Mind Intensive, or MMI, back in, this is 2018, how I got into it was the gateway to that actually was there was an event, Gary Vaynerchuk in Manila. I didn't know what the whole thing was called, the National Achievers Congress. But in that short seminar where Gary Vaynerchuk flew into Manila, there they started sharing more programs. The Millionaire Mind Intensive was one of them. They were sharing other stuff like Peng Joon, Sandy Jadeja, like that. So MMI, the Harvecker's program, caught my attention. So I actually had no expectations necessarily at the time. I was just in desperation. So a quick background on this, and Chris could also share his, was I'll just hit two birds with one stone here is I've been a financial consultant since 2014, November 2014. So that time, I was already achieving. I hit $1 million round table, this top 2% thing. And I had an incident wherein I was earning, let's say, like 1 million in a year. That's like 7 digits. I withdrew half of that and I bought a brand new motorcycle, like a big bike,
Really.
costs like a car. And then my bank account was slashed in half. And I was happy that day. I bought it in cash. It was cash in a brown paper bag, dealership. The next day, I felt like if I did it again, I would have wiped out my entire life savings in 2 days. So I felt like a fake. I had really bad imposter syndrome. And then the Millionaire Mind Intensive, I went in there because I just wanted to become more stable, like financially stable, mentally stable. And that was the only expectation I had entering it. Other than that, I was just what is gonna happen here? I have no idea. That was my story.
We have a similar story, a
Mm.
bit. Yung sa akin naman, I've also attended NAC, but the guy who was speaking was Chris Gardner. Yeah,
Oh, the Pursuit of Happiness guy.
of happiness guy. Yeah, it's Chris Gardner, and I didn't even know
Yeah.
that he was that. You know, I just went
Okay.
there. I just went there and
Yeah.
yeah, I enjoyed. And then the first thing na notice ko is bentahan. You know, ang daming lahat na lang binibenta.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did not expect that. Right, I went there trying to learn from Peng Jun, digital marketing, and I was surprised by Chris Gardner. From there,
Hmm.
I met someone um, na maraming tickets sa MMI.
Ah.
And well, the he basically loaned me the tickets, um, like to get there. So, pero
Yeah.
yung honest story dyan is that it actually took me a while to pay the guy back. Um,
Ah.
and even up to now, I'm still thinking of considering how the heck am I gonna you know make it up to these people. But anyways, yung nangyari was that I got more than one ticket, because people pledged in Iloilo na sasama sa akin sa MMI. Yung nangyari
Wow.
was the opposite. Ako lang at yung ex ko at the time, yung lumipad sa MMI. And it was very funny because it was the first time that I actually stayed a while outside Iloilo. And I was expecting na someone was gonna help me with my accommodation. And yung ending was that I had to ask someone else, a family friend. Um, and long story short, the guy gave me his couch, and that's where I stayed throughout the no throughout the seminar. So, and it was very funny because
Wow.
there's a lot of stories there. But I do remember explicitly that on the last day where I'm supposed to go home, I ran out of money. So, naubusan ako ng pera and I had to sleep in the airport. So, which was a
Wow.
fun experience. Anyways, yan yung millionaire mind experience ko the first time. But expectation wise, uh, I expected na I went there with money in mind. Right, but I wanted to fix my life. And pleasantly, yung nangyari was I really sweat what was really holding me back from earning. And yeah, for after a year after MMI, first 7 figures, crazy. I was there. Oh, Sister Gerald, you were there. So yun, right? So very interesting stuff. Now, what did you hope to gain from the seminar versus what actually happened? You know, ano ba talaga yung nangyari during the seminar? So I'll start with this, right? So what I hope to gain was techniques on how to build more money. And yung nangyari basically is that they did teach us the techniques, but more than that, it was the programming that actually helped a lot. And Martin is disappearing. Are you back, man? He's back. Yun. So I was just discussing
Yes,
na
I'm back. Yeah.
expectations. Expectation is sa akin money techniques. Pero yung nangyari was that yes, bumigay sila ng techniques kung paano kumita, paano magpalaki ng pera. But more than that, it was the programming that actually helped. The affirmation, the whatever, etc., etc. Sa'yo, bro, how was the
Yeah.
experience versus the reality?
Man, my first time. Yours sounds wild, man. Because you slept on a guy's couch and in the airport.
Hmm.
Mine was it was wild too, but not in that sense. Because I'm from Manila. The very first time I attended MMI, it was very chaotic. I think that was the word I would say. Because when we attended this year, there was like around 1,100, 1,300 people in the whole SMX conference where we were at, and it felt much smaller or intimate. So the first time I took my MMI, it felt bigger, more
Yeah.
crowded, and messier. So it's like the student to instructor ratio, it's like whack, right? There are more people, it's messier. Um, the quality of people around also. Like if you have things left unattended, just be careful, like that. So it was very hectic in my first MMI. And then I also felt much more uncomfortable. And since it's my first time coming into it, don't know what to expect. There's a lot of high pressure upselling. You already mentioned that,
Hmm.
like they're selling stuff. I
Bentahan.
really, yeah, I don't like that. I really don't like that. So it's not out of my comfort zone. I felt like threatened or like very unsafe in a lot of times. So attending it a second time, which we'll get to later on, it's a very, very different experience and in a positive way. So my first time was like crazy, chaotic, and then it's like you're just getting sucker punched left and right from all these lessons. So that's what it was like for me in my first time.
Yeah, nakakatawa, no? I mean, I remember explicitly sa mga binebenta. Um, my, it was like, naiinis ako because wala akong pambayad sa binibenta. Alam ko naman na scam to eh. I mean, it's not a scam, guys. Pero I mean, alam ko naman na binubudol nyo kami eh. Pero, the fact that I don't have the cash to be budol. So, yeah, it's crazy.
are
So,
are you more of a spender? Your money personality?
no, I'm a monk, man. I'm a monk.
A monk?
Ah,
Okay, so
yeah, well, or actually, let's discuss that, man. At least na ano natin, na tackle natin. No? So there are money personalities. Some of the stuff na um, I thought that this time, spender na ako. Because when I went to MMI the first time,
yeah,
and for context, if you're a spender, you like to spend. Okay? If you're a saver, you like to save.
yeah.
If you're an avoider, pagkita nyo ng
Mm-hmm.
bill, hindi nyo na tinitingnan. If you're a monk, like me, you're above money. You're spiritual. Money is evil. Parang ganun. So, um, for me, at the time, first time, monk ako because nasunog ako sa business eh. I've done things that I'm not proud of when I was starting. Um, so sabi ko, if money is evil, parang ganun. The second time, akala ko spender na ako because um, I have more money to spend. But then I realized na yung pattern ko is that I only spend on things na may purpose. So, for example, yung mga businesses ko will
Mm,
always have a community aspect. Yung binibili ko will always support
yeah.
some sort of cause. Parang ganun. Even the toys. So, yun. What about you, man? What's your money personality?
Mine was consistent from the first time I attended until now. Actually, the second time, it's still saver. So there's an improvement though. So saver the first time was I was super guarded. So whenever they try to sell something, I would get very uncomfortable. Like I don't want to spend, right? And
Yeah.
then this second time around, the irony is, I'm just jumping ahead a bit, but I already, in my first Millionaire Mind Intensive I took the quantum leap after. So the second time I took MMI, there was so much pressure off because even if I'm a saver and they say, all right, we'll upsell you, I'm like, I already bought that. And
Yeah. Yeah.
even more than buying it because it costs a lot to actually do it, man. You know this. You could buy a business. The hardest thing is to run it, to
Yes.
actually do it, right? So you could buy the quantum leap. The hardest thing is to actually show up to all of those five seminars in the span of 12 to 18 months and finish it, like finish and commit to it. So I actually finished it. So attending MMI a second time, the Millionaire Mind Intensive, I had so much more bandwidth. Like, man, there was so much pressure lifted, and I was able to get the lessons uh, better the second time, actually. So, but yeah, that's kind of jumping ahead, right? But yeah, that's what it was like for me as a saver. Yeah.
And it's interesting because ano tawag dito?
Mm-hmm.
Ako din, I enjoyed this MMI because sabi ko ayaw ko nang magpabudol this time, you know. Sige, mag-offer na kayo. I've done most of the programs, you know, TTT, GBI, Never Work Again. I've done most of those programs. Yung Warrior lang
Mm-hmm.
naman yung wala pa eh.
Yeah.
Uh, so I was just enjoying, I was just having fun, I was just connecting with people. And then yung ending was not nabudol pa rin. So I ended up getting a special thanks to Happy and Jello, you know, for being my bankers. My bankers in real life. You know, yung credit line nila. So sila yung since they're getting the program, I
Yeah.
decided, you know what? It's gonna be fun, you know. So sige, tuloy tayo. So yun. Um,
Amazing.
pero just to give you guys an idea, no, you know, MMI is so much more than just being sold programs. Okay,
Yeah.
MMI is more than just being sold. Like what Martin said, it's just the gateway. Um, and yung pinaka-importante with gateways is that doon kayo nagsisimula eh. Unfortunately, that also means that if you're just starting, there are next level programs naman that you guys might wanna consider taking, right? So, and unfortunately for most people, those programs cost a lot of money. So, yun lang.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's the difference this time, man, between the first time and the second time?
Okay. This second time attending Millionaire Mind Intensive, so this is 2023, September 9 to 11, super recent this month. And then the first time I took it was 2018, like 5 years ago. So this was the first MMI ever since the whole lockdown, the whole
Yeah,
COVID pandemic lockdown. So it's been like 3 years already. And when time flies, I felt like it was the right time. Like it was ripe already. Like I could do this again. And then I see this guy, Chris,
yeah,
flying in from Iloilo with his team. And I'm like, hey, I have a ticket. I still have one ticket. And even general admission will cost you like 10,000, or you could
five.
try to get a deal. Yeah, five if you were like super early bird or you get a good deal. So I still tested it. I was like, hey, first time I took my Millionaire Mind Intensive, 2018, I personally bought a VIP ticket worth 12,500 that time. So this time I'm gonna attend it general admission, no special treatment. And then yeah, biggest difference was since I went through it, I even went through the Quantum Leap program. I had so much bandwidth. I even crewed in 2019, a year after, to
Yeah,
like serve. Once you attend the whole seminar, 3 days, you could actually try to serve back. They call it crew, like karma crew. So I did that. It was super tiring. So when I attended it this time, it's not that you know what's gonna happen. It's just you just go there again, clean slate, and
Mm.
then you have by the way, the lead trainer this time, Robert Riopel, he was different because the first time I attended it, it was Mac Atram, I think, and Thaddeus Lawrence. So they were different trainers back then. So the way Robert Riopel does it, it's different. It's not 1:1. Core lessons are still there, yes, but then it feels different. It just feels different. I mean it in a good way. So I was able to absorb the lessons better. I also like how the lead trainer doesn't leave any open loops. So,
Mm.
for example, we had a money activity like the money burning or whatever, without spoiling it too much. So after that activity, there was a sharing or lesson part after. So I love that because it doesn't leave you frustrated. Like, what the hell did we just do? So
Right.
I love those moments, man. Because there were some moments when I took my first MMI, I was like, what the hell did we just do? And like, why did we do that? Like, what's the point of this? So this one, it felt very like the knots were tied, or like the questions were answered. And then, yeah, as you said, the programming for me, like winning the money game, it might sound super simple. It starts to become more real, the lessons. So you don't even have to get overloaded with too many. It was just maybe two or three core lessons that hit me in the 3 days. So it was very refreshing. It was good, man. It's like training. You don't go to the gym, or you don't do like a Spartan training once and then you don't do it ever again, right? So it felt very good. And I had the bandwidth to like learn key lessons all over again. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Those are great shares. Huh. And there are people actually trying to watch but can't find us for some reason. Hold on.
On the
Podcast
lives.
on the
Yeah.
live, yeah. Madami tayong ano eh. Madami tayong uh what's
Yeah.
the word?
Actually, if some people were commenting or asking questions, that would be super cool also.
Yeah, yeah. Ask questions, guys, if ever. Sa akin naman, with my MMI experience this time, um,
Yeah.
for huge difference from the first one. Yung first, di ba, sabi ko, accommodation was an issue.
Yeah.
An issue. Uh, this time, I brought 13 people. No? Thank you to Loris Enterprises for giving us the privilege to attend MMI. Right? Pero at that time, this year, I attended 2017. Um, and then 2023, sabi ko I want a crew, but then wag na, gusto ko, I want to be served. So, ano tawag dyan? Gusto, feeling VIP ako ngayon eh. So, sige gusto ko mag-VIP. So, brought 13 people to the seminar. But then I've also come to realize na pag libre lahat, baka wala silang makukuha. So, proud of these guys that they paid for their airfare. And they paid for half their
Yeah.
accommodation. Yung fun pa dyan is that the half the accommodation that they paid for, na-split yung team eh. First day, the Airbnb that I stayed at, di nagbayad ng Meralco. walang ano, walang kuryente. Tapos yung sa team ko naman, yung sa kabila, there's like 8 of them in a 3-bedroom condo. May may multo na nagpaparamdam. So,
Oh man.
it's pretty funny to think about. And then eto, same feeling. Oh, this is from Leia. Same feeling with you, bro, about the money exercise. Confused and mind blown at first, pero takeaway after that exercise is really an eye opening for me. Tawang-tawa din ako sa exercise na yan because I remember 2017, umutang pa ako para lang ma-reach yung quota, di ba? 3,000 or 5,000 pesos yata. I only had 500. Tapos hindi ko na-reach yung quota, and then we were already lining up to do the exercise. So, and then, ewan, I found that very funny because in my head at the time, I was one of the people na sway na na doing the exercise was the right thing to do. Pero spoiler free na kung yung tamang approach. I'm not gonna share with you guys. At 10 MMI, kung if gusto niyo malaman. Tawang-tawa ako dyan. And at the same time, I like this time sa MMI because I've met people that sa Facebook ko lang nakilala. So ngayon, I got to connect with everyone. And it was pretty fun. Nilibre pa ako ni Miss Kim Royals ng steak. So, one lunch nilibre ako ng steak. Tapos ang mahal pa nun if I remember correctly, it was a 1.6 steak.
Wow.
1,600 steak. So, wala, tawang-tawa lang ako. So, I love that, Excellent receiver So, yun.
Yeah, that's another lesson.
That's another lesson. You have to be an excellent receiver. What's your key takeaway this time, bruh? So for your second time na semi-mai?
For my second time, the key takeaways that hit me, and then I'll focus more on the personal breakthrough because we can share knowledge, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything until you go through it in either the seminar or you get hands-on with it. So the first breakthrough for me was winning the money game. And they define it super simply as this. And it's going to fly over your head unless you attend the seminar or you go really deep with me and Cris on this. Like, we go one-on-one or like that. So the first was winning the money game for me. And then it's defined as it's when your passive income is greater than your expenses. So when we went through the seminar, we wrote down numbers, like real numbers of that a target. So, for example, if there's a basketball game, but you don't have any hoop, like any ring to shoot the ball at, you can't win the game. So, winning the money game is they will give you a target, and you'll define it in your own life, your own numbers. How much does it cost to live where you're at in Manila or where you're at in Iloilo or where you're staying, right? And then how do you achieve an investment vehicle or income, passive income, to sustain that? And then you're gonna start to get ideas. So winning the money game, it became more clear. It sounds too simple, but it's actually not. It's a real thing. And as a financial consultant, I learned actual vehicles that can give that, like a cash flow fund. If your investments, like a real estate investment trust, anything giving you dividends quarterly, etc. If you're into real estate, there's its own version. If you're into business, like Cris, there's a different version.
Yeah.
So winning the money game, that one. The second one was the money jars, which I started doing since 2018. Last time I did it was yesterday. So whenever I get income, like commissions, I do it. Necessities, the 6 jars. Necessities, education, long-term savings for spending, did I say education? Play, yeah, give jar, education. Unless I missed something there. There's 6 of them. There you go. Yeah. So I did that just yesterday. So setting up the system. That was also the main reason in my first MMI why I felt more stable after going through the seminar. So having that system. And then the money personalities. That was another thing that kind of reminded me. It's not to understand myself only. It's to understand other people in my life. Because there was a line that hit me. What other people do with their money is none of my business. So it kind of gave me a personal boundary, not just to separate people up, but for me to understand myself and to not step over if ever Chris or another friend like Royce, he wants to spend his money a certain way, then I had to understand that, and it's cool.
And
It's
honor that.
super helpful because money can ruin friendships, money can ruin families, like that. So it was super helpful. And then yeah, I think it's again, it's just a few core lessons like that: how to win the money game, the money jars, money personalities, and then a lot of it is just reconditioning my roots, meaning deep seated programming.
Mm.
If it's not, yeah, if the roots in my thoughts like that, if they're not healthy or supportive, there is actually a way to replace them or update them, kind of like an operating system. Mac, Sonoma's coming out. Who knows when Windows 12 is gonna come out, right? So imagine if you're still running Windows XP or 95, diba? Like in this day and age, maybe they're like viruses or something already. Like we can update actually our mind in the way we think about money, the way we treat people. So that's how the whole seminar hit me. How about you, man?
I like what you shared about the relationships and the money
Yeah.
identity, right? Because for example, um, what most of us forget is that we live with other human beings, diba? My my if you're married, may partner ka. If you're not married, then you still have family, right? And based on experience, man, regardless of how many, I remember one time na I would spend almost every day treating my family to dinner outside. Like kumakain kami sa labas, and then yung comment sa akin ng one of my family members is that parang may galit ako sa pera, ba't ako nagwawaldas? Parang ganun. And I'm like, that doesn't feel like that, but yeah, to each their own, parang
Yeah.
ganun. Wala naman akong galit sa pera. Uh, I also like what you mentioned about the roots. Sa akin ganun din eh. I was wondering, money is not an issue at this point in my life. Pero why am I not happy?
Mm,
Nagtatanong ako, bakit hindi ako masaya? And I found out that the roots of my income come from anger, come from resentment. Balik tayo sa unbounded no 4 hours joke lang. Uh,
yeah.
from anger, resentment, etc. Resentment sa mundo because I felt like for the last couple of months, I felt like the world is betraying me. Like yung trabaho ko, I'm working so hard for the world, but why is it that they are backstabbing me? Parang ganon. Is it so?
Yeah.
Is the fruit even? Is the effort even worth it? Parang ganon. And that's where yes, oh nga no. So and I just decided that I don't want to live that way anymore. I would rather choose new roots coming from abundance, gratitude. I don't want to be the hero of my life anymore. I just want to sip coconuts, chill, whatever. Right? Ayaw ko na ng ganong klaseng buhay na hero, the coach, the whatever. Okay, so I'm just gonna chill right now and enjoy my life, and be the vessel na lang. So if light source, God, whatever uses me as a vessel for something else, so sige, I'll comply, right? Pero I don't care. At least at this point, diba? So yan yung sa akin. Now, may
Yeah.
interesting question tayo kay Miss A. Okay? Program is quite intriguing. What is your takeaway when you earn your first 7 digits? By earning 7 digits, did your personality change? Do you want to start with this, bro?
Yeah. Yeah. So my answer to this might be a little opposite because when I took the MMI in 2018, I haven't earned 7 digits yet. So it's weird that it went the other way around. So
You
I
did mention
actually,
you're earning seven figures in 1 year.
yeah,
Ah,
I haven't,
before, no?
Yeah, ever since
So,
2018
oh,
when I first took it. So it's like my financial or my income took a dive ever since I got into personal development. Now,
hmm, makes
what I
sense.
can say is, yeah, I made peace with it because there's this saying like in small things and in big. And there's this, when I took the Millionaire Mind Intensive a second time, there was this line that hit me. He said, being wealthy and being free are two different things. How
That's
many
it.
of you know wealthy people, millionaires, but they're broke? Yeah, because they don't have enough money na nga to treat you out that night because their money's tied up in real estate, in the business, or some of them are even in debt. May utang sila. Even if they're millionaires, they have the fancy car, they have assets, the hard assets like that. So freedom is a totally different target. So my takeaway was freedom first because I want freedom, I want peace. And then you can grow your wealth exponentially after that. So that was a big shift in my mindset. In terms of personality, I don't think it changes. Like money will amplify you.
Boom.
The more you are. Now here's the thing. Someone might say if you're an asshole, more money, you become a bigger asshole. If you're very um gracious, then you get more money, you're gonna help more people like that. The thing is, I kind of believe in duality. I kind of
Hmm,
believe I'm both the devil and the angel
I
because
agree.
if if my needs aren't met, I will become an asshole. Like if I don't have money, I'm like sleeping on someone on the chair like that. I don't know how Chris did it because people helped him. I could turn into like a gremlin, like a monster. Like I don't have a place to stay. I can't eat. Like you're gonna see the worst come out of me. I'll
Yeah,
admit it already. So I think it's a balance. Like if you can be a saint when you have no money and you have nothing like that, man, teach me how to do that, please. Like it's I'm human. I'm also human. So our personality at the very core, I believe it doesn't necessarily change. It just gets amplified more when you earn more money or when you make more money. So what I got was more of stability or I learned a different way, a paradigm shift. It's like, hey, freedom is different from wealth. And I've seen that a lot in the financial services industry, life insurance, financial advisors, like that. There are a lot of high income or high earners, but they're not necessarily if you get what I mean, like
I
a lot of
do.
them are broke also. A lot of them are I was. Like that's why I attended the MMI. I did $1 million round table, but I was so unstable. So that's why and I don't know how many of them will ever admit that to you. But then that's why I took my seminar in 2018. So our personality, it can change, it can get better if we want to learn, if we want to destroy our ego, break it down and build it up all over again. So I can only speak for myself. That's what I've been doing for the past 5 years. Yeah, that's how I would answer it. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, man. I like your answer, and I like how blunt and truthful it is. Yeah, then yung and it's the truth, right? I mean, for in my case, um, lahat ng sinabi mo, I also check the clocks. For example, I have multiple properties, pero now I don't wanna look at my taxes, estate tax.
Yeah.
Miss Lim, or ano tawag dito? Nag-increase daw ng 300% yung estate tax namin. And I'm like, bakit 300%? Even worse, I live in Mega World. That's like the most expensive place in Iloilo. And
Yeah, that.
so I'm like, what damages do I have right now? Parang ganun. So it's a funny thing. Uh, I've had a lot of regrets as well, like how I spent my money, for example. But to be fair, I'm young. I'm learning how to spend anyway. Right? For example, this condo is very great. I love this place. Pero to be honest, it feels more like a prison than a home. Bakit? The amount I'm paying per month is like a international travel na, right? So what am I missing out sa mga ganun? Um, was I too greedy because I got multiple properties at this young an age? Yung tanong, some stuff you have to ask yourself, uh, etc. Um, one thing I do like to answer here sa question na to is that one of my blockings as well, or the roots then that I did not notice until I attended this MMI, was that my roots was also coming from a place of fear of becoming a monster. You've tackled this before. I mean, um, with the amount of blessings that I'm receiving, there are also signs where I have to start becoming more ruthless because otherwise, ano tawag dito? Otherwise, the blessing will just disappear.
Yeah.
And ano tawag dito? And I don't want to be ruthless, man. I mean, in fact, people know this, pero then I don't know if people even know this. I would ano tawag dito? I would share the secrets of the universe with anyone who asks. Parang whatever. Right? I've paid millions, for stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'd share it with in a heartbeat. But now circumstances is telling me, hey, Chris, you need to go to the next level, and the next level is this. You have to be more ruthless. You have to have more rules. You have to have more structure. You have to be less forgiving, less giving. Parang ganon. So sabi ko,
Yeah.
if that's true, and that's my future, I think I'm okay with where I am now. Parang ganon.
Yeah.
I realized that. Oh, sige, go ahead, man.
I wanted to add super quick, and then back to you, to your flow
Sure.
is I actually agree with that because I wanted to just give everything for free, like the secrets, Alex Ramosi, my first mentor, Owen Cook, like that. Just give it for free, the secrets. There is a balance though. So Alex Mandoshan, when we took our GBI, he said this term, ruthless compassion. So people
Mm.
kasi will not appreciate the secrets. Like we paid 6 digits for all these seminars like that. Maybe you spent 1 million already in combination already with everything. They won't know the value of it. And then there's that line that if you don't pay, you won't pay attention. And it's like a sad truth because dude, we're talking about MMI, Millionaire Mind Intensive.
And he's disappeared. Hopefully.
Ayun, it's back. It's
Good,
back. So you've done a program that was worth 500,000, I think, the Business Mastery of Tony
Yeah.
Robbins. So and I think we shared best lessons on that. So people who don't know, they just won't listen. They're gonna say the only one who will listen is someone who actually attended Business Mastery, paid 500,000 pesos for that. That's around 10,000 US dollars. And then they're gonna go, whoa, so you're sharing your best lessons. Okay, let me listen because I paid 10 grand for this dollars. So those are the only people who will tend to listen, man.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a lesson for us also. Like we have to go to the right places for the people who would actually appreciate it. But yeah,
Yeah.
back to you, man. I mean, it's just a lesson, I guess, for us.
And then it's funny then kasi Myla and Igor were here yesterday, and we were
Yeah.
talking about programs. And ganyan din yung sinabi ko. I'm at this point in my life, I just want to help those who want to help themselves, right?
Yes.
So ala na kayo. I don't ano tawag dito. I don't care what you guys do anymore. Basta if you're committed to your well-being, okay, here's how much I'm gonna charge, because otherwise, and minimum yan 6 figures now. Otherwise, you will not appreciate the little things. Then some of the answers to life's most compelling question is very simple. Diba? It's so
Yeah.
simple sometimes that if you don't pay a lot to learn the secret, hindi mo ma-appreciate. And I mean, dude, MMI, quite literally yung sa akin, when I attended MMI, a year later, nakuha ko yung first 7 digits ko. Um,
Wow.
and yung fun dyan is that, hindi ko nga na-notice na nakuha ko na yung 7 digits. It was not even on my mind. I was just doing accounting for that month and I'm like, huh, wow. You know, I didn't even feel like I changed. Parang ganun.
Oh.
Pero I didn't feel like I changed pero yung laptop ko naka-Mac na, you know. From trash to a MacBook. Yeah, yan yung nakakatawa. You know. So, yeah, it's crazy. And, you know, earning, does it change your personality? I agree with Martin. It only amplifies what you already are, right? So, unfortunately, and we have to go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If nabuhay ka rich kid, if you're born as a rich kid, that's because your family did a lot of work in the past that earned them the right to treat you better than most people. Okay? Now, however, it's your responsibility now that you're in a better space na hindi ka naghanap ng physiological needs mo. Right? You're not hungry. You're not worrying about a roof over your head. You're not worrying about Wi-Fi. Now it's your responsibility to find the meaning kung bakit ka pinanganak sa mundo. Okay?
Yeah.
Now for some people that might mean you become Kim Jong Un, you know, or Putin, whoever. Okay. But ultimately, I also believe in duality. How vile the person is, you know, and sorry na lang for there's a lot of people I want to mention, pero regardless of ano nangyari sa kanila, despite the wealth, despite the pera, I also believe that there's an equalizer sa mundo, right? So something will happen, or they're there to teach us some. They're there to teach us a valuable lesson. Now, people who are busy surviving will not be able to learn that.
Yeah.
Okay? Kasi they're surviving and they for them, tama ka nga, ma-justify. For example, if you're hungry, or if you're hungry or your family is hungry, definitely justifiable yung pagnakaw. Diba? Les Miserables. The guy,
Yeah.
Valjean stole bread to feed his nephew. Diba? So, still, ma-justify mo. Pero of course, it's your choice whether to do something unlawful or not. You have, may consequence pa rin if you ever go there. Right? So, yun. Any thoughts, man?
Yeah, well, you're moving to the next question or comment. And thank you for this comment and question. The
Sige,
last thing I feel like adding is Chris mentioned, like, if you come from a family that's poor, your leverage is you have hunger. If you come from a middle class family and you don't have to worry about food, you're going to start dealing with different problems like anxiety, depression, stuff like that. So you're going to look for a higher purpose in life, which is why Chris and I would, help people and just give you the answers like that, like this. And we paid for it. We paid our life to learn it. If you look at the ultra high net worth, because this is just based on my mentors and my studies, they actually have a different set of problems, which are very unusual. So
usual, yeah.
it's like inheritance, the amounts are so big. Talagang Skylar Sisters level and above, parang like that. So this is like Rockefeller wealth, all that stuff, the Rothschilds. They have a different set of problems. But as Chris mentioned, it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So they're paying taxes which are so in the millions or billions.
Dollars,
Um,
yeah.
dollars. Yeah, they're thinking about legacy. That's why and this is not just to their child. There's this term called intergenerational wealth. They also are thinking of other, like on a bigger scale, like Elon Musk whatever level type na ganun. So they have their own sets of problems, their own sanity, stuff like that. So
Yeah, I mean, look
what?
at Elon Musk, man. He's not healthy at all. Like here,
Yeah.
yeah, he's
So
not at all.
so, so the littlest things. What I learned is we just all help each other, I guess, in different ways. So if you're hungry, because you're starting from the bottom, you inspire me. If I'm in the middle class, maybe someone who's super high net worth will look and say, look how simple Martin's life is. Because I don't even have a fucking accountant. I had one before.
Yeah,
Then I'm filing my own taxes, like a professional, like that. But then, if you have multiple corporations and oh my lord, diba parang, yeah, you're when they look at you, gagaan sila. Their feeling is gonna get light. They're like, look at this dude, he's so simple. And thank you. But we all help each other wherever we're at. That's one thing I realized. So yeah, back to you, Chris, on the question, the flow.
and we're 50 minutes in, so let's make this the last one. But
Sure,
before
sure.
that, for anyone who's watching, baka may mga tanong pa kayo, comment down
Oh
below.
yeah, yeah.
Learning something, comment down below. I'm learning. Okay? So that we can address Nina Martin while we're here. Okay. So
Yeah.
criticisms na lang, Martin, on MMI. Let's
Mhm.
be let's be blunt as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So baka they're saying na sobrang perfect na si MMI, no? And for me, I would say it's a great starting program. But ikaw, what criticisms do you have for MMI?
Yeah, if you'll be attending MMI, the Millionaire Mind Intensive, and it's like your first major seminar, you're actually investing a lot of money, like 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 into it. The thing is, yeah, it would really help if you ask someone who has already gone through it to kind of temper your expectations, like expectation versus reality, like that.
Yeah,
Because the tendency is they'll market it and they'll be very highly emotional. Oh, take it na, yeah, you want to become a millionaire. Oh yeah, let's make money. Diba, like that. So
yeah,
it yeah, they're gonna pump you up like
yeah,
emotionally. So me, I tend to be more level-headed, skeptical, like that. So I'm extreme opposite naman. So I actually need a bit of emotion. I need a bit of like, give me a reason, like fire me up naman. So if you're if you're like that, overly emotional, you might get disappointed if you're like looking into. All right, yeah. I see your comments, guys. Um, excuse me. So yeah, I mean, there are parts there sometimes where there was a term I heard. It's like over promise and over deliver, and
mm,
I'm more of on the side of I actually don't like over promising. So even Tony Robbins or certain seminars that I love, they
mm,
always say something, but then they don't overly hype it
yeah,
because they set it up in a way wherein I'll say something cool, but then over deliver on it, like blow you out of the water. Let's say if Chris and I say, um, I spent 310,000 bucks on this program, on a certain program, and I'm willing to share with you my best lessons on that. I'm actually not overhyping anything because I really spent that much money. And if you ask me what my best lessons are, I will share it with you. So I don't like over promising. I'll actually just say it as it is. For some people, that will blow their mind. They're like, "You paid 310,000? Like, are you crazy?" So the
sorry,
the
let me add something there. I paid Blair siguro 500,000 pesos just for him to tell me sleep more.
there's that making the stage.
Yeah, and then master facilitator,
Master facilitator, part of like BSTA, Blair Singer Training Academy.
MFP.
So,
So you
so,
know,
so here's the thing. And there are some people, they pay a certain amount and it was life changing for them. So, again, man, parang I'll say it as it is, and then I'll over deliver. So there's some parts in the seminar because it's on the criticism side wherein they might say you can make 50 million pesos in a year like that, and okay, fine. Like I hope whenever you say something, please base it on an actual case study. Meaning maybe there was one student who did it like that, and I'm cool with that. That's fine, but don't overinflate something and then you know it will make the attendee think like most or almost everyone who attends the seminar will end up with a 50 million after the seminar. So yun lang. I mean, that's just like a criticism that I would say. It's not necessarily bad. For all I know, there could be a guy who did 50 million in the stock market or in funnels after he or she took their MMI. So once I hear that story, then I would go, all right, so that's what that meant. But then whatever you just hear and emotionally get hyped up, yeah, I would just try to be grounded on it, just so you don't your expectation versus reality, you don't set yourself up for disappointment. Like that. This MMI 2023 with Robert Riopel, it felt more grounded naman
that
versus yeah the first wherein they could say all this hype stuff. So at least the one we attended this year, it felt more solid. Robert Riopel feels more like speaking from the heart. Whatever he says, he actually did the seminars. He was my lead trainer for Enlightened Warrior Training Camp, October 2019. So that was like right before the COVID pandemic. So I like his personality naman. But then again, whatever you take in the seminar, if there are parts that might feel like, hey, it's not totally perfect, it's okay. Parang I felt it just like you, man. That's what I would say. How about
boom.
you?
Love that. Same then. Be very careful when you attend seminars like these. And
Mm-hmm.
don't get me wrong, man. I'm a fan of stuff like this. Not just low risk enterprises. I would attend funnel hacking live. Uh, well, digitally. I would pay for business mastery and all of that other programs. I'm a fan. Thing is though, you have to ground yourself when you're in these seminars because the energy in the room is crazy. Okay, and then there are a lot of people there who are very reckless when it comes to things. For example, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, when we walked on fire, unleash the power within in Singapore. Uh, Quite literally, even though it's the part of the program, you could still be burned if you're not
Yeah.
careful. Okay, grounding. Don't make major decisions 30 days until after 30 days after a seminar. Okay, so that means if you went there single, you have to go out single. Okay, don't marry someone when
Yeah.
yeah, from the inside, right? So yeah, grounding. So and if you follow practices, EQ, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Kabbalah, whatever, the crown before you reach enlightenment, it always starts from the ground. Okay, grounding talaga. So it's your only way, to be able to what's the word I'm looking for? Be the divine without becoming disillusioned with your own power or something. So yun lang. With that being said, It's an hour now, right? Martin, anything else you want to say before we end this this live? Thank you for
Yeah.
seeing.
If anyone commented in the chat, any last questions? If not,
Miss
yeah,
A
the
lang
last
was yes, yeah.
yeah, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome to these people. Purple Heart. The last thing I guess to end this MMI Millionaire Mind Intensive hot takes is when it like what Chris mentioned, stay grounded. When I was in that MMI, you will see people who are heightened emotions, like, oh, should I buy this and all like that, and they're consulting like Coach Ross. Someone comes up to me. I felt that too. Even as a saver, someone who's like super kuripot, I had to consult two people, Elvin Camus and Joy Season, before I made my final decision on the last day to take the leap of faith, to do my quantum leap. So stay grounded, do your due diligence. Do I regret it? No, man. I'm responsible for my life. I have my personal reasons. I did it because I didn't want to go into rehab. I didn't want to become a drug addict. I didn't want to end up in jail or kill myself. So I have my very personal reasons for taking that path. Now, for you, if you're feeling highly emotional, and then suddenly you don't even know where you're gonna get the money, like you might steal it from your family, like don't do it, man. Like if it's not coming from a good place, then have the humility to be stay grounded, ask for help, um, ask for people like, hey, have you done it? What would you do like that? I'd probably tell you not to do it if it was coming from a really bad place, right? And then people, you could still get help like right now from this live, uh, for free. And then if it's really meant for you, because you earn the money, maybe you got a blessing somehow, it's meant to be, then you could make the right decision for you. So that's how I would share Millionaire Mind Intensive coming from two guys who took the seminar twice. How about you, Chris?
That was a great, that was a great close.
Mhm.
Yung masasabi ko lang, if it's not your time now, uh, be patient, right? Because MMI, it's gonna happen again next year. Quantum Leap, it's gonna be available again next year. And those programs are not the only ones there that that could help change your life. Something as simple as Unbounded, yeah.
Yeah,
Smaller program could actually, you know, might shape your future better than than something as big as MMI. So we'll see. So with that being said, thank you guys, and see you next time.